Welcome to the first episode where we make some progress. Quick rattle through the history. I made that mould, the plug in the garage didn't work, so I stripped the car down, thought we'd do it on the car. That was a good idea. Quick look around the Porsche. Oh look, some damage on the front bumper. Get back to that later. Anyway, looking around, radiators, carbon ceramic brakes, aircon pipes all over the place. Inside there, we're not going to be doing too much. That's a fuel tank. You've got the stereo and all the amps and electrics there, battery, brakes. All good.
So, having discarded the frame of the garage, I've now mounted that wing on there. As you can see, still the cut up one. And the next steps really are to build a platform to mount my headlights on. I want the headlights about there-ish.
That platform is that carbon fibre piece you watched me make last episode, I hope. And here you can see me mock it up with MDF.
Just come to try to do my first measurement and notice that interesting thing. So this side, this bracket comes to here. Look, just forward of that seam. Over here, this one is back from that seam. It's also got a lot of gloopy, sticky stuff over it. Yeah, so in the same way that's got a tear on the end of that thing. I think this has been pranged at some point, and that's been added in. So I can't even use a car as a square thing to take the measurements off. Bollocks.
I got about this far mocking it up at MDF before the storm came along and pissed my chips. So I went back and decided to do the top of the wing with spray foam, which you saw in the previous episode. Anyway, in the morning, here's the spray foam. It looks a bit rough, but we'll get there. So it's out with the carbon knife and let's make the first squeaky cut. Just listen to this. This goes on for ages as you cut smaller and smaller pieces and then resort to some 80 grit to a wooden block.
So, after much sanding and shaping, you can see this foam. This is why I hate this foam. It's full of little holes. They could really do with filling. I might get some drywall muck and use that. Yeah, it makes a mess. Yeah, it makes a mess. There's some offcuts. And then on this side, again, lots of holes, but smooth, blended and the right shape.
I called those as good and was happy with the shape, so taped some silver foil over the top to stop the next storm ruining them.
And you join me this morning as the bird's just awaking, crowing away happily. And I'm back on the car again. Okay, so now I want to create something to go down this side of that wing, basically extend that blue tape right the way down here. Well, the birds have stopped singing or squawking, but we have our basic divider between the wing and the bonnet. Now I need to transfer that PU template onto the timber.
And with the timber hot glued to the bonnet shuts, I can start building up the wing in foam. There's a short delay while I build a carbon fibre shelf, as you saw in a previous episode.
With the headlight fitted, you can almost imagine the car. That piece is going to slot inside the wing, so I need to build the wing over the top of that, around this side, underneath level with that, and coming down here. The front wing's basically shaped, but the hole for the headlight is rectangular and the headlight isn't. Rather than trying to carve out all those fancy places, I've covered that in tin foil and I'm going to put it in there and then spray some foam around the corners, and that'll make it the perfect shape so I can just slide it back out and then shape that accordingly. Now I just hope and pray I can get that headlight back out. Oh, one thing. That's the can I used last time. The nozzle exploded, pissed everywhere, pain in the arse. This time I used this one and it was really easy to use. So avoid Sudol and use Sudol.
So here comes the ground extraction, remove the headlight protector, start tugging away the paper, and yay, it comes out nice and easy. Pull the paper lining away to reveal a headlight-shaped hole. Now we have the wing blocked up. Once the daylight comes, we can start shaping that wing. And here we are in the morning, looking at the car, looking at the model, looking at the car, looking at the model. I'll sod this. Let's get the kebab knife out. That squeaking's getting my tits, so I've turned the volume off. Basically, I'm just cutting away little bit by little bit. Don't want to cut too much away because I want to leave this oversized so I can sand it, shape it, etc. in the future. You can't uncarve this stuff. But watch, look, laugh. Oh, once I finish carving, I then go into the sanding. Then I go back, carve a bit, look at the model, sand, carve, blah, blah, blah. Used a roll of lining paper to make a template for the wheel arch again, cut it undersized so I've got room to play with later. And I got bored of watching that, so here's the wing as I'm going to leave it. It's not finished, it's oversized. The top of it needs to be higher and more curvaceous, but what I want to do is do the other wing and the bonnet, then I can carve both sides, look at them and see how the whole thing works. So that's going to get left alone. Surprise, there's a big seahorse. The next video is going to be making the carbon shaft in the front wing again, which would be pretty dull if I just replicate what I've got. So please, can you put some comments in there saying what you want to see, anything you want to see in more detail, and I'll try and make it interesting.